ideas, neither of which really came together. I went into Cusco today. So I'm going to give you guys a bit of a recap and also I'm going to hide a tip in this video for people who are deciding to travel here, just so you know that does really apply to today. So basically, today I went into Cusco. I'm working on getting my worker's visa here so that I can stay here past the tourist visa, since I live here now, and it's been a little bit of a process, but I needed to go in to talk to immigration again. They need more fingerprints from me and a few other things. So I got up at, I want to say 8 a.m., got on a bus and went in. The bus costed me about $7 or 7 soles, I should say, which is about $1.75 on the way in. We got there. I brought the dog. The dog is a lot bigger than it was the last time I came to Cusco, and I didn't realize it because I spend every day with it. So it's probably twice or 3 times as heavy as it was the last time I brought it. So it got my shoulder's tired, I'll put it that way. We came in. First we had to meet with an accountant. Basically, here in Peru, they file their taxes once a month. Or at least they have to report their income once a month, unlike in the US where we can do it once a year, or depending on if you're a corporation, different segments of time depending on the corporation, the contract, and all that stuff. But you guys don't care about that. So we went to talk to him. We tried to have this conversation with him on through text / through Zoom, but he sent us his bank account information. I tried to send it over. Long story short, there was some extra information that was needed, and he wasn't interested in giving that information, or at least it didn't seem like it. So he was like, you know what, we need to meet in person anyway, so come in person. So we came in person with the money that we owed him, and went to sit down to talk with him, and everything we talked about could have been done online, like through Zoom, and the money we could have wired to him if he would have given us the appropriate information. But basically the tip is, and I don't really know how to make this tip helpful, it's just something you got to look out for. It's just kind of a fact of life here. A lot of times, everyone, not just excluding it to the locals, but everyone in general, even people who have moved here, they kind of are very slow to give information. And what I mean by that is, I'll give you a good example. So I went to see a house the other day that I didn't end up taking because I agreed upon a price with someone before I went. I said, this is my budget, I can't go over this. And they're like, okay. So they're like, just come see the house, since, you know, that's your budget, that's okay. Come see the house. So I went to see the house. I show up in person. The house was like 2 hours away from where I lived. And when I got there, he showed me around half the house, and he was like, oh, by the way, I know your budget is this. However, there's a couple extra bills per month that I'm going to have you pay instead of... I'm going to have you pay because you're paying a lower price on the house. And the bills basically added up to the price of the house. So I was really upset with the guy, because it was like, I told you this is my budget. If it wasn't going to work, it wasn't going to work. But now I've taken 2 hours to drive in. So essentially, you got to be really careful, because people will kind of tell you what you want to hear, get you out of your way, and then once you actually get there, you end up having to make the decision of whether you want to stick to your guns on it or whatever. It happens in the US too, so I'm not just pointing fingers at this area. It happens everywhere, but I noticed that it's happened to me a lot more here. I noticed, like, in the US, when I go to look at houses, it's very much like, this is the price, okay, we're going to barter a little bit when you show up, but this is how much you can pay, this is how much you can pay. So anyway, got that done, went looking for food, made it to the mall. There was something happening today, and I have no idea what it was, but essentially there was people everywhere. It was very difficult to get content because of there's lots of children in the street. So they had a great time, but that's part of the reason why this video is this format. I really don't want to take videos of kids. They were having a great time, but it's not my kid to put on the internet. So every once in a while I get like a little small shot with a kid in it, but there was way too many kids. So great time. There was lots of dancing. It was really fun. There was lots of people dressed up in traditional gowns, but I don't know the name of them. I tried to ask a few questions, but for the most part, I didn't gather much information. I do know they have a holiday coming up on Monday, so I assume that's what it's related to. So basically, there's a lot going to be going on with that. I will probably make a video about the holiday on Monday. So after we got to the streets, we made it to where we wanted to go. We got to the mall. That's actually where immigration is in Cusco, is it's in the mall. So we got to the mall, walked around, got some food, and immigrations was pretty easy. It was not the first time we had been. It was the first time we had been to this immigrations, but it's not the first time we had been to immigrations in general. So basically, we showed up. They asked us a few questions, but it was really interesting for this version of immigrations. The last one, the lawyer was like, you know, just go in there, do what you got to do. For this one, the lawyer was like, don't tell them anything. So both me and my partner were nervous because they were essentially the same questions, but our lawyer was like, don't give them any more information they need to know. Very much like you get pulled over in the U.S. Like, yeah, you weren't doing anything wrong, but it's still don't give them any more information they need to know because they can use it to try to search your car or whatever, or really look into you more. So she was basically like, the less you say, the better. You're in good standing. You've done everything right. You're above board. You're legal. But don't give them a reason to try to look into you because it's going to extend this process and it's going to cost you money for no reason. So we were both kind of nervous going and doing that whole process. But, you know, they did the whole taking the fingerprints, asked a few questions about random stuff that we avoided when we could. And yeah, now we're back on we're on our way back down. The taxi ride this time cost $75 to get back, so we didn't take the bus. We found a taxi that we were trying to get to take us to the bus station, because in Cusco they've got colectivos and they've got buses. I should make that distinction. We wanted to take the colectivo, but where the colectivos pick up and drop off is a mystery to us. We know the general area, but it's almost like it moves, like a labyrinth. Like they just decide to move a block to the left, a block to the right. So there are some places where it's always the same, and there are some places where it moves. So where we get dropped off, it's never where we end up getting picked up. I think what they end up doing is they drop you off, drive around the corner to pick more people up. So we're in the taxi because we're tired. We wanted to get back. It was a great day, but we were just tired and didn't want to go on a scavenger hunt. Plus we had the dog, like I said earlier. So yeah, overall it was a good day. You're getting some of the drive. It's a really beautiful drive, but on the way down here, the only part that's difficult of this whole drive, most of it's beautiful, is actually right where I am right now. You can't quite see it because of the shrubs, but basically right there is Urubamba at the bottom of the hill. That right there, what you just saw. So we're gonna go past Urubamba, but right before Urubamba, there's like a little swervy road down a mountain. Pretty typical. You've probably driven one at one point. There's Urubamba again. But the road is so swervy, I get a little motion sick, which I don't normally do on the way down, and most people do too. Actually, at our retreats, we bring coca candy, which is coca leaves, which helps with nausea and altitude. And then the sweetness helps it be easier to eat, more palatable. So a lot of people end up taking coca candy on the way down because it's this particular road, and this particular way down is rather rough. So anyway, not my most eventful video, but I appreciate you guys watching nonetheless. Just didn't work out the way I expected, and it happens when you make videos. There are lots of videos that I tried to make that just didn't end up working out the way I expected, and I had to completely jump ship. Anyway, if you want to see a more entertaining video that YouTube knows is right for you, you can click this button, or you can click this video right here. YouTube has been with you for a while. They know what you like. Otherwise, if you want to see other things that I do in the future, click this right here. Little subscribe button so we can stay in touch, so you can see some more fun stuff and what it's like to live in Peru. I'll see you soon.